Hey, what's up, zombies? My name is Undead Scoopy, and today we're doing a little bit different of a video. I really love playing Breath of the Wild, so I decided to rebuild Link's house in Breath of the Wild. You get his house as part of a side quest if you don't already know, if you haven't played the game. But you can see me here, I'm just flattening out this area of land so that I can kind of get a good idea of size and how big I want to build. I'm fairly new to the concept of commands in this game, so bear with me. I kind of eyeballed just placing down the floor. It wasn't really, it wasn't really that hard to get an idea of how big I wanted the floor to be. Because like I said, I love playing Breath of the Wild, so I just eyeballed the size of everything and the look of everything, because I didn't really have any reference images at the time. I did have my Switch, but I didn't really have it next to me, so I didn't like look per se. I think the hardest part of this entire thing was just leveling out the ground and building up ground, because Link's house has that little like side porch area that's raised ground, and that just it didn't really pan out that well, as you'll see later on. But all in all, I had a lot of fun kind of just messing around and building his house. I kind of just winged every aspect of this house, including the siding and the walls and everything. I kind of just said, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna make this as close as I possibly can. I knew that his house was made of bricks, but there aren't really any small bricks in Valheim. There's no like brick wall like there is in Minecraft that you can do. And oh, watch this. Pop. At 300 times speed, that looks like I just popped him. Anyway, so yeah, they don't really have any small bricks, so it wasn't really easy for me to get the exact look of his house. But here I'm just kind of raising the ground to get that outside porch effect. And as it gets dark, it'll be a little bit hard to see, but I promise I'm trying my best. I know that the porch wraps around like all the way to the rear end, and I know that there's also that little sort of shack area in the back that doesn't really have a use. So I just I built it kind of true to what it was. It has a door and everything, but you can't use it because the door is too small. So it kind of just holds true to what it was in the game. Right then, as you saw me standing still, that is when I actually looked up a reference image for the roof and the back area. I believe that's what I did. I can't remember exactly. Ah, yes, the dreams. I can't remember exactly what I did just then. I might have been texting my wife at that time. I might have looked up a reference image or two. I really can't remember, to be honest with you. Oh no, it's when I looked up the front and what the porch looked like. I couldn't figure out a good way to get this looking like it's supposed to look like, and it kind of never did. So if you want, skip a couple seconds ahead so you don't have to see this mess that I had to go through to get this looking, you know, halfway decent, because it never looked halfway decent in the first place. Here you can kind of see the cobblestone texture like leading up to his door. I put that in there. I don't like how the doors in Valheim are not tall. But I suppose, like, if you're the size of the character, I see that the size of the character is smaller than the door, and the door just kind of looks small. So I guess it's okay. It just, maybe if it was a little thinner, it would look more proper, but then the game would have a hard time with letting you into the buildings, as I've seen with other things. I spent a lot of time trying to get this area looking as close as possible, and trying to get those like those caved in areas to not be so And I don't know why I'm using a pickaxe to get these areas here, because I could just destroy, yeah, there we go. I could just destroy the wall and place it back later. Again, I have no clue what I'm doing. Hey, that was pretty smart of me to do. And back to stupid. Like I said, I spent a lot of time on this area trying to get it as close as possible. So if you want to skip further ahead in the video, I don't blame you, because I did spend a lot of time on this area. And it ended up being like all for nothing, because it didn't really look as good as I wanted it to. So here I knew I had to put in the walls to block in the upper area of his house, and I wasn't sure of what size to use, so I had to think about that for a bit to see. But you do see eventually that I kind of figure it out as good as I possibly can. It wasn't all that, like, it didn't look all that bad, but it could have been better, you know? There I had to no clip a part of the wall because it just wasn't having it, you know? It didn't want to work with what I wanted it to. Those supports, if you're wondering why they're just placed haphazardly like that, it's just because I knew that part of the area was not going to be able to be accessed, so I didn't focus on making it look pretty. I just focused on making it sturdy. And then placed in the siding area. I think I went with something different than this because it just wasn't working out properly. It didn't look right. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did. Sorry, it's been a while since I recorded this, so I'm just kind of, I'm looking at it, and I'm voicing it over, remembering as I go along. Now I'm just placing in the stairs to the upper level. And there is going to be a couple chests underneath there, just like there is in the game. As well as some railing, just like there is in the game. Oh, I also remembered that at this point I remembered that Link's floor was made from wood, not stone. So I was going to replace, or not replace, but put on top of the stone floor just a wood floor so that it looked proper. So here I had kind of a difficult time trying to put in a good looking floor, so I ended up having to just go with the one by one tiles, because it just the 2x2 tiles were just not okay with it. And here are the random chests that are underneath the stairs. And the railing that goes up the side of the stairs. Placed his bed as accurately to the wall as I possibly could, and then I put his desk and everything down. Later on I realized that he has a rug underneath his desk, so I put a rug underneath his desk as well as a chair against the wall. Here I was doing the outside of his house where the overhang of the door, the eaves of the door, were jetting out from the front, so it didn't look so flat. And this was a little hard to get right, so it took me a little bit of time. Eventually I got it looking halfway decent. Now, to me, it didn't look at all good, but it looked good enough to be a passable doorway. Here I was just putting in the extra walls for everything. kind of wish Valheim had a smaller brick that you could use, or one that looks like a smaller brick. That would be very convenient for builds like this, where you have to get a certain level of detail into your builds, and you can't really get as much detail as you want out of your builds in Valheim. So I just did what I could. Oh, here's the building in the back that makes no sense because it doesn't do anything. I didn't put anything in here, no Easter eggs or anything like that, so I built it as true as I could. And it turned out looking okay. It didn't look perfect, but, you know, a little hard to get things perfect sometimes. In building the roof, it honestly gave me a lot of trouble. So, you can fast forward if you want, because at some points it's just me going back and forth trying to find out what works best for this, and I don't think the footage is sped up fast enough for that not to be boring. So here I was just trying to kind of sleep through the day, just because I wanted to get rid of the rain. And here comes the roof. Believe me when I say this roof was very problematic in places. I didn't really like building the roof. It wasn't my favorite part of this build whatsoever, but the result was good-ish, I guess you could say. It was good. I think my favorite part of this build was the chimney. You know, the chimney that has no fireplace attached to it? Yeah. There's more than a couple things that don't make sense in Link's house. Here I was just building the window that you see outside of his house. And you know, this game doesn't really have any like glass pieces or anything like that that you can use for windows. So I just used one of these X's. Which actually, I mean, once I got it right, it looked pretty good. yes, I know that the X is farther up than that, but I couldn't really help the sizes. I also remember that Link's house is kind of, it's asymmetrical. So one side is steeper than the other. And I thought that was really, really cool. And I wanted to keep that as part of the build because it looked cool to me. So I went ahead and just kept it. Here's me checking to see how good it looked, and I was satisfied with it. And obviously, I wasn't like too impressed with myself because it was. I mean, it looks really plain. It really does, but that's Valheim for you. Oh yeah, there's also that building on the side that also does nothing. I guess its main function is keeping the chimney up, because I know that there's a support on the chimney that it uses. So I don't really know why I put those floor pieces there. Nobody's gonna see them, so. Here's me starting on the chimney. The chimney, I just kind of, again, I just winged it, since I can do the whole like leaning and half-assed built look. I just kind of built what I thought would look okay. And unfortunately, the chimney doesn't go a lot higher than the roof does, so it kind of looks a little weird and doesn't really mirror Link's house all that much. But it's there, so I can say I built it. In Valheim, you have structural integrity of your builds, so keeping that in mind, I couldn't really build too high without it breaking, so I just did what I could. I must admit that it took me a lot longer to build this than I thought it initially would. So there's that. Now you can see me kind of figuring out where I'm putting the supports, where they're supposed to go. Just kind of figuring out how they're gonna look. And I think I did pretty well on these. I think I do remember having to like readjust them a bit, so there's that. Here I'm just putting in the rest of the structural support for the roof. Trying to make it as symmetrical as possible on each side. And then building up as time went on. Building through the chimney was it was a little weird. It didn't really fit all that well, and I didn't like it too much. And I don't know what went wrong here. I can't exactly remember. So I had to like go back and forth and check, because I wasn't exactly sure what happened. And it was really just not lining up for me. I know that eventually I did figure it out though, so that's good. Working with tight areas in Valheim is very it's hard. It really is. But I mean, you do the best you can and your work pays off for you, so just got to keep at it sometimes. Here I am trying to just line everything up so where it's proper. You notice that I just kind of shrugged it off and said, good enough. inside I just did some lighting and various touches and kind of just made it what it was. It was a really fun project. And here it is in all of its glory. I know it's not really much to look at, but in terms of Valheim, I think I got pretty close. And because of the smoke, I did have to put a hole there, so that's not part of it, because obviously that's not part of his house. That's supposed to be the chimney, but the smoke had to escape from somewhere, so I mean, we got as close as we could. Here we got the lighting, the dining room table. There's not really a cooking shelf thing that he has, so I just put chests here. And you see I've got the bows, melee weapons, and shields on the wall. And all the wood floor. The chests over there underneath the stairs. We go up here, we have his bed, his nightstand, his desk, his chair, and his rug. And I think, I mean, when everything's said and done, I think this is a pretty accurate representation of Link's house in Valheim. So let me know if you guys want any more of these kinds of videos, where I just kind of do a voiceover and speed through what I'm building. And if you have any suggestions on like things to build, please tell me. I would love to build them. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like. If you really liked it, make sure to subscribe to Join My Undead Army. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. I bid you adieu. That was meant to be facing forwards, but whatever.